Hello and welcome back to Northeast Nostalgic. Today we're exploring a hidden history gem in the heart of Old Sunderland, the Donnison School. The Donnison School was established in 1778 under church patronage to educate 36 poor girls from Sunderland parish. At this time in history, it was the age of the charity school. It was popular for generous benefactors to endow small local establishments with funds usually in association with the church. Progressive at the time, the Georgian school was to provide the girls with a basic education, suitable clothing and practical skills for the home and community. Elizabeth Donnison, wife of the church warden, died in 1777, leaving money in her will for the establishment of the school. What could be used with Elizabeth Donnison's endowment? There were terms with what could be done with the Donnison bequest, with £1,500 being used to hire a room or house in the parish of Sunderland, convenient for a charity school, as well as defraying the charges of the trust. A person also needed to be employed to teach the children, with their salary not exceeding £10. The rest of the money would be used for clothing the poor girls that were born in the parish of Sunderland, as well as being taught the English tongue, sewing, spinning and knitting. It's interesting to note that the trustees had the power to make orders and regulations for managing the charity as they saw fit, as there wasn't the schooling system we have today. Upon leaving the Donnison School, each girl would receive a school Bible and their completed sampler to show prospective employers of their talent and skill in needlework. 2 samplers can be seen within the schoolhouse, created by Elizabeth and Charlotte Green. Elizabeth and Charlotte were sisters that lived in Pans, Bishop Wearmouth. Their father was a shipwright, so they lived comfortably until he died at Christmas 1891 at the untimely age of 47. The family were left with very little money and as a result were accepted into the Donnison School. The girls continued their education until they were 16 years old, however sadly by this time they'd also been orphans after the death of their mother. What was it like at the Donnison School? Students from the age of 7 to 16 were taught needlework, spinning, sewing, knitting, in addition to reading and writing. Pupils were provided with clothes and shoes, with additional pieces being gifted at Christmas and Midsummer. The Donnison School was the first of its kind in Sunderland, part of a wider movement of charity schools to educate deprived girls. Whilst visiting the Donnison School, I couldn't resist having a go with these school slates. Chalkboards and computers weren't a thing in schools during the Georgian and Victorian times, with very young children being taught to write their letters in sand trays using their fingers or a stick. At the age of 7, children were able to progress to school slates, which were made from a piece of quarry slate framed in wood. A slate pencil was used to create marks onto the slate, and then it could be wiped clean with a damp cloth or even spitting onto the cuff of their sleeve. The girls at the Donnison School were instructed in the principles of Christian religion and were required to attend church every Sunday, Wednesday and Friday. While it might seem a lot of church going to modern people like ourselves, we have to remember that back then there wasn't much else for a young girl to do. Keeping the poor girls occupied with an education helped to dissuade them from unwanted pregnancies in their youth, to aspiring careers in service or ambitions to be a wife of someone more notable. The structure of school and church I feel would have been a good thing for a young girl at the time, giving them the chance to learn and experience the world a bit. Whilst in the care of the school, a supply of spelling books and other school provisions were supplied. Books were very expensive at the time, with most people being illiterate, so this would have been very progressive for those lucky enough to be able to attend the Donnison School. So how was the Donnison School started? A schoolroom was rented in 1778, with 36 girls being selected by the rector to go to the school. 8 trustees were chosen to run the school, with the school being built on the church grounds of Holy Trinity Church in 1798. In 1827, Elizabeth Woodcock, the schoolmistress at the time, built a house next to the school and enlarged the schoolroom to how it looks today. The Donnison School fell into disrepair many years later, after schools evolved to include a more structured education, and has recently been restored. The school is now used for cultural events and has a very pretty gift shop and a cafe which is said to sell some really yummy scones. If you'd like to know more about the Donnison School, head to their Facebook page to find out when they're open and any exciting events coming soon.